What's going on, traders? Welcome back to Start Swing Trade. It's time to take a look underneath the hood to see what was hot in the market and what was not. It was an ugly day again here, guys, as we are just getting choppy action all around. We did get a little bit of a takedown, then a bounce back to those levels. Now we're rejecting those levels a little bit. It just doesn't look good today. Q's coming down also. And it seems like everything was down today. I mean, communication services was up, but that's not anywhere that I was looking. Healthcare working its way back after, a big takedown after the open. Healthcare was actually up at some point and then eventually came right back down. Technology working its way back to break even on the day, but also taking a hit. If we take a look at the bigger boys, right, we could see here Apple working its way back up. Microsoft trying to get back up there. Google hanging in there a little bit. Nvidia, Meta hanging in on the 300 pullback today. You can see how it went right to that, then was able to get a bounce. Now, one stock that did struggle today after their AI event was Intel. You guys can see here, they definitely struggled and they gave some good information there, some good products. That's just not enough right now, at least to get this. But to tell you the truth, guys, I think this gives me an opportunity here. So I'm going to be looking for Intel to pull back just a little bit more. Maybe we get a move back into this 35-40 area. This little gap here, I want to attack for a kind of buy the dip attempt here. So right now I'm not going after it, but if it gets into this space, I don't mind taking another dip. Why? Because that would be lower than when I sold it. I sold it at 37 for a little bit of a swing here from around 34s. Now I want to go ahead and get it back through this level and then look to see if we can go back to 39 and 40. Now, what did I see also leading the action today? Well, let's just be honest. Financial services coming right back down. Let's talk a little bit about that action. JPM now fading and then bouncing. So this is the outlook here that I think we all need to keep an eye out for. Of course, the KRE keeps going lower. So what's going to happen with regional banks? Will we see regional banks get hit again? That's something that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. TFC, names like that, WAL, Bank of America. Will we see more trouble in the banking industry is why I think this could go lower, right? This could really ruin the tech trade. Right now, I've been seeing nothing but chop in the market, but at some point, we're going to pick a direction. The only question is, will it be kind of the positive AI story, or will it be the story of the consumer slowing down? Because that's another thing that I've been calling out in the markets is the consumer slowdown that we're seeing. Let's take a look at some of the consumer facing stocks. And if you have any that's on your radar, throw it up in the chat. Let's talk about these consumer facing stocks. Names like, Best Buy. Look at that action lately. Definitely getting hit. Starbucks getting hit today, right? These are the type of stocks that can definitely take a major beating. Planet Fitness down to 46 today and continuing to get hit. These are the stocks that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Even a Domino's Pizza looks like it's going to come right back down, right? A McDonald's could even come down, right? If even this stock, a lot of people say is recession proof, but is it truly recession proof? Things that we need to start thinking about. Disney going lower here. I guess I didn't like that mention of spending money on the parks. Why? Because I think there's a consumer slowdown coming. And so I think this is the complete opposite area, probably where they should be investing in. They should probably be investing in more into Disney Plus, where they could, the consumer could stay at home and pay $15 a month to keep their Disney Plus versus spend hundreds and hundreds going to the Disney parks. I think they got it wrong here, especially in Disney. Disney, I've talked about it. I think that it comes back here to this 80 spot, eventually to the 70s. And I won't be liking Disney until it gets back below that 70 spot. Closer towards 65s and 50s is where I see Disney eventually getting to. Like always, you guys can call your own levels, but it just doesn't seem like Disney wants to hold. And it came back to this major support, trying to break it, trying to use it and get back above. Now you can see it's acting as resistance here. It's around this 85.50 area, 86, acting as resistance, and could come take out the 79.75 low. We'll see what happens on that action. But yeah, a lot of stocks that kind of more face the consumer really starting to struggle. Booking.com starting to pull back here after a really kind of good time. Let's go to Airbnb. This is one that I was looking at, and this took a hit today. We'll see what happens. I did trade one stock, Hilton, and lodging today. Was able to take a good gain on this one. Could have kept holding and maybe got a bigger gain, but I took the first kind of cut down right here towards the 152. Wasn't a bad little gain. It got me back into the green. And where was that green from? Of course, the arms swing trade that didn't go well for me, guys. So I did get red on my arm swing trade, but was able to bounce back and get back into the green with two stocks. I was short Affirm on the day trade action, which wasn't a bad little short. And then I was also short Hilton. And that's not looking too bad. As we take a look, also Marriott going lower. We'll look to see if this can continue to break down as you're seeing these kind of stocks that are, consumer facing really starting to get hit. I think you're going to continue to see this hit. That's where I'm struggling right now to hold on to my American Airlines. I'm definitely red on American Airlines. I have it closer towards 1450s. Want to see it hold 13. It held it today, went to 1305. We'll see if we can eventually start coming back into this gap zone. Bags, what's going on out there? Doesn't Disney Parks have something like hardcore fans, Disney? I don't know. What a great show and host. Hey, how we doing, Turbine? It's good to see you out there. Just taking it easy today. I honestly took a little bit of the break in the market today. I couldn't, keep shorting on the day after I made my profits in Hilton. I said, you know what? Just take the gains, take it as a winning day and keep going, because I got hit hard on that arms trade, lost about $75 and was still able to bounce back green on the day. And to me, sometimes when I'm just not feeling it, if I could end the day green and not push it and get into the red, that's going to be a lot better than keep pushing on a day where I just can't read the market. Let's keep going into different outlooks. If you guys have stocks you guys want to take a look at, throw them up in the chat. This is now your shot, guys. One stock that I was keeping a radar on was Lilly. Is this finally going to start coming down, or will it bounce here and make its way back to 600? This is an interesting stock to watch. Now, industrials were definitely weak. That's an area that I can definitely draw a sign of concern to. Take a look at the XLI and how the XLI was starting to bounce, then got flushed. And we were thinking maybe it could get a little bit of a bounce. No, it goes lower here. And you can see Deere starting to break down right back to 398. So looks like it's not going to get that 420. It did have a rating this morning that definitely didn't help it, right? Evercore ISI downgrading Deere to inline and lowering price target to 424. Definitely taking a beating on that. Take a look at CAT. CAT now starting to show a little bit of weakness, and it's tried to come up here multiple times, right? It's made an attempt to try to get back up towards 285. Now it could go an attempt to come try to fill this gap. And that's something that I want to keep an eye out for, because if we're not going to get this industrial run, then this could kind of fill in and this could pull back there to 265. We'll see what happens on Caterpillar. Of course, a lot of these kind of struggling here. UPS has been struggling since their deal. GE almost going into red here. Boeing not doing the best. Just keeping an eye on stocks like this. RTX moved right back down. So Lockheed Martin not doing well there. It just seems to me like industrials are really struggling here. Just got to keep an eye on it. Even railroads going down. When the railroads go down, it just seems like everything's in the red. If I take a look here at the industries, the only thing in the industrial space that I see doing okay, business equipment, staff and services, airports, and then a couple others, but not too much here. Honeywell is one to maybe keep an eye out for if it could really ever get going. But this one has a tendency of coming up, coming right back down. We'll see what happens. All right, what's else are you taking a look at? Val wants to take a look at GD. General Dynamics, of course, aerospace and defense stock, right? You can see here, I drew this line. Would we ever get back above that? No, it just seems like we're kind of battling off of this resistance here right above it. And so this is really acting like resistance here around the 227. If this can't hold, and it can't get back above that, then it can test right back down to the 215s. This just seems like it's all over the place. I would keep an eye on it, especially on the weekly basis. If it gets back above 230s, it looks really good. Right now, it's kind of on a battle and could pull back right back to 210s. All right, we'll see what happens in that space. Of course, I've been going into the airlines, but they can't get any bounce. DAL, though, not doing the worst today, did get a little bit of a bounce. So this is at least good outlook in Delta. I just need to see American get the bounce. RCL today did get an upgrade by Truist Securities, and that actually keeping it in the green today. So interesting to see RCL in the green on a day like today. Of course, this is consumer facing, but like I talked about on pre-market prep, it seems to me like what they do is they get what? They get their bookings way ahead of time. So that's helping Royal Caribbean here get the nice little lift. All right, let's keep going. What other ones? You meant to say DG? Well, hey, you got two outlooks there. Dollar General, nice little pop there. That's interesting to see this finally start turning around. I think this more has to do with just an oversold condition, right? I talk about it all the time for RSI. We want to see historical reference for RSI. When has DG reversed before? So I don't need to look to the right. I need to look to the left. When have I ever seen this kind of get that spike and then come right back up? So right around the 16 RSI, it has a tendency of getting a little bit of a bounce. We're right underneath that towards 1340s. This could get a real bounce. Now, how long will this last? I mean, it could go to 120s, 130s, maybe even up there towards 138. But will it fill this gap? I don't think it's going to do all that, but I'll tell you one thing. At least it's something to keep an eye out for because it is reversing off the bottom. AAL, Apple, what do you see here? Well, Apple's trying to make its way right back towards 180, right? And there's a couple of highs here that we need to keep a watch. I know that Apple has a tendency of pulling back, and every time it pulls back, it's been an opportunity to buy. Let's just be honest. Even in the opportunities when it went into stock split, it did give us an opportunity to come back and then eventually climbed higher. So I think you're going to get choppy areas in Apple. You could just go sideways for a little bit here and then eventually make a way to 200. So am I betting against Apple? I stopped doing that a long time ago, guys. I used to bet more against Apple until I really see a change in the brand and people, get bored of Apple. People aren't bored of it. There's people oversubscribe for the new iPhone. Do I want to battle against Apple? Hell no. Hell no. No, by no means necessary should I be trying to battle Apple. That's just the way I see it. All right, we'll see what else is going on. EMPH. Yeah, EMPH did have that insider buy, but I don't think it was insider buy that really lifted it off. It's just more just the right day, right? Because Array Technology had good news. First Solar was getting a nice little push to the upside. SEDG led out the gates and was getting a nice little lift. So days where energy is really hot, when energy is really hot, when oil prices go high, for some reason, that helps solar names. It could be because you look at an alternative energy source as you see crude going higher, right? That's usually when they turn on the solar plants just that more, right? Try to pull energy from the solar plants, then of course, kind of the coal burning plants. So this is why I think this really comes into play, but it's interesting just to see it, right? To see the relationship. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on. Bros, something definitely to take a look at. Bros, Dutch Bros, trying to get back up there through 26. Something that I just will leave it to the side. I don't think this is going to improve anytime soon. And if Starbucks is making another leg lower, I don't want to battle that, right? Starbucks is the leader in the space. If Starbucks isn't doing well, probably Bros isn't doing well. It's going to be very rare to see Starbucks do bad and then Bros actually lift off of that. Normally, the industry needs to be doing well for an industry player to get that lift. All right, let's keep going. Can you talk technicals on the name, not the fundamentals? Which one are you referring to? EMPH? Yeah, we could take a look at it. Let's go to it. So here it's just kind of reversal action, right? Because you're seeing a nice longer term support come into play. You can see it on the monthly, right? The monthly right over here. So you see how this acted as support for so long. Will this act as support again? The 120.50 area, if I had to roughly estimate it. And that's the area where we need to see it kind of hold for it to get the bounce. I would really want to see this trend change and show me a green candle first. So show me a reversal candle like it tried to do here. It tried to give you that reversal candle, but you really couldn't close above that on the next candle. And so things like this, inverse hammers, things like that, that's what I'll be looking for to show me reversal. Does this look better? Yeah, it looks a little bit better because it's finding support, especially on the daily. Now, has it really gotten going? No. What will be the real getting going move? A day two move, like through 130. That would be the next step up. That's where I see the next resistance right over here. You guys can see that. It's had a couple of spikes into the 130. Let's see if we can turn this thing around and start making our way back. I got you, man. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we can always take a look at any stock and try to take a look at it technically, right? I try to bring a little bit of mix, sometimes story, sometimes technicals, sometimes fundamentals. Really, if you can include all of them in your trading, that's what I call for me a high conviction trade. All right, SMCI with an upgrade, worth catching the dip there. Let's take a look. I actually have traded SMCI on my day trading. It's one of my best stocks on the day trading side of the year. And the reason why is this stock has a tendency of trending when it gets back into trend. But right now, it's been on a battle, right? Let's just be honest. It's on a battle trying to come back from their earnings, and it hasn't looked like it's going to come back. If we think about the 50% spot, so if we think about the recent move, right, all the way from the bottom here to the top, a lot of times we look at this 50% retracement area and looking for that to kind of hold in there. And so if you can look right here, you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit thicker. This is going to be the area that I want to see SMCI pull back to and then lift off out of that spot. So I could see it going towards the 240s, the 230s, and then coming back to 280s. I wouldn't touch this until I really start seeing a trend where we're starting to get these type of semiconductor names to get to the upside, because they could take another leg lower. One that I'd keep a radar on is like Micron, right? So Micron has been trying to make that lift up. We'll see if this eventually pushes higher. If you see Micron go to 75, stocks like that, then maybe we can come back and look for SMCI to really start getting going. Right now, I feel like this is still on the pullback, and you got to know exactly where you're going to get this, because let's say if you buy it here at 250, well, it could easily go to that 226, 240 spot really quickly. So that's about $8 risk here for what? Upside about what? Maybe you get $12. That gets you up there towards 260s. Maybe you got $20 more. But the big thing with SMCI is also how big it moves, right? In one day, it could easily move here 18 points. Understand the risk if you're trying to catch that knife. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what happens on SMCI. Another way to look at this also is to see this get back through the breakdown area. So I would draw like kind of a trend line from that first spike, and I would just hold it to this area, get it back to 280. If it can get back to 280, I think it can get 300. So from there, I can maybe start taking a risk. I'd also draw kind of the downside actions. You can draw like circles where you're seeing downside extension. And I usually look for 3 or 4 and then reversal pattern, right? And so you can see here, we've had 3 or 4. Now we just really need to see reversal. Reversal would be a big bar up. Give me a bullish engulfing candle that goes up through like 280s. Yeah. And I'll start paying attention to it again. Nikola still what, pushing down the hill or something? I don't know. I can't touch this stock, guys. I've talked too much negative things in Nikola for me to turn around and then be buying it. But we'll see what happens on this. It is trying to make its way back. Nothing that I'd keep an eye out for. Neville, it's all on you on Nikola. I just personally am kind of against any company that has scammed their investors in the past. And I feel like this company did just that, right? And so with my outlook on that is, why would I be in it? Why would I want to swing this? Maybe day trade it, but other than that, I'm never going to be wanting to look at my account and see that I have Nikola overnight. That would scare the living hell out of me. We'll see what happens. All right, let's keep going. We could take a look at stocks from you guys in the chat. You guys run the show today. I got no problem with that. Halliburton pulling back, oil pulling back today. And it was interesting because this morning it was ripping off. It even got to a high of 93.74. We're right back to 91. Are we going to break down through the 90, or are we going to get a bounce back to the upside? Honestly, on this one, I'm not so certain. And sometimes I have that inclination, right? I was shorting MPC earlier in the week and lost big. What does it do today? It drops all the way right back to support. So we'll see what happens with this situation. Will we really start to see these stocks kind of break? That's something to think about. Yesterday, just yesterday, I was shorting this stock, right? It gapped up. Today, what does it do? It goes through those highs in the pre-market and then just flushes way below where I was shorting it from. We'll see what happens on this oil situation. It's definitely a difficult trade right now, and I'll see what happens. Oxy came back down a significant amount today. Chevron, let's go to Halliburton. You can see how that just fell off the tape, and a lot of topping actions there. But if it can reclaim the 9 EMA, this 41.63, it could easily just bounce, especially if oil goes right back towards that 93.75. If it goes to 94, 95, $98 a barrel, if that happens, watch out, because inflation's going to rise and you're going to hear Powell talk about that. Maybe he even talks about it tomorrow. We'll have to take a look what's happening there. All right, let's keep going. ARM is, I don't know what to say about ARM. I thought it was going to be trying to hold the kind of the IPO low. The IPO low here is a 55, 54. So I was wondering, can we go right back to that level, right? Can we recover from here? We're hanging on by a thread. We'll look to see if this can really get back. How would I know it gets back? Give me a big bar to 59, right? So I'm going to even draw a little box there. When it gets back into this spot, going towards 59 and 60s, that's going to give me the outlook that it wants to push. I think we need to be kind of a little bit weary on this, because the truth is, I tried it today. I tried it yesterday. It didn't go anywhere, really, even though NVIDIA was looking good this morning and then really came right back down. I do not think it will recover. I agree with you. It could very much not recover, right? It could not get back there. So that's why I'm going to wait till it gets back and shows me some strength. Until then, I'll stay on the sideline. Nothing wrong with that. Let's go to Tesla. Tesla here back to 266.64s. Going to look to see if it can get back in the 270s. It's been trying to hang on here. Has had a rough 3 days. But what do you see there? On the daily candle, it looks like it's trying to recover the 9 EMA. So I would look to see if it gets back through this support around the 264 level tomorrow. If it does, it could break down. If not, it could be right back up there to 277s. We'll see what happens here on the Tesla Dragon. It does look like it's trying to hold in there, and that's why I didn't go short today, because if you chase too much on Tesla, that's easily how you can get wrecked. All right, we'll see what else is going on. It's not a great company. It's no NVIDIA, that's for sure. I mean, ARM is very relatable to NVIDIA. It just probably doesn't have the growth outlook moving forward. But also, does NVIDIA really have that growth outlook? Is it really going to hit those numbers? I don't know, man. I feel like also NVIDIA is also fluffing this a little bit too much. But we'll see if they can hit their guidance, right? That's what's important. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look into the overall market here. The Qs still just hanging in there, not doing much. SPY still doing the same. I think this is all kind of uncertainty of what's coming, even though we should know that they're not going to raise interest rates. But will the Fed say that they're done raising interest rates? That's something that maybe you're seeing some people take some bets on, because it seems like they're saying no. But who knows? This could be the takedown before the big run, right? We'll see tomorrow if it wants to run. What would be that big run if for any reason Jerome gets, dovish on us and actually supports the market, maybe it runs back to 445, the SPY, and maybe we get back up there to 450s. That would definitely be the move that could start pushing the stocks higher. All right, let's take a look here. Did Ford or GM go down today? No, they didn't. Stellantis still hanging in there. I don't know what's going on with these stocks, guys. A little part of me thought that by now they would start getting hit, a little bit harder on this situation, but it's just not working out right now. RKLB was one stock I wanted to keep my eye on today to see if it went right back down. It did bounce after their kind of disastrous launch there. We'll see what happens on this one. It's hanging on by a thread, but could come right back down. Square not doing well, and I just can't touch this stock, man. I really don't feel like this stock is going to come back anytime soon. And it's crazy to think that, I used to watch Square a long time ago, right, guys? I used to watch Square, where, at $42. And we're almost back to these levels. That's crazy to think that we're almost back to those levels when this stock was at one point over $250. Be careful with these names. PayPal struggling. And then I started seeing MasterCard and Visa get weak today. That doesn't look good there. Visa getting a little bit weak, MasterCard getting a little bit weak. And if these are going to turn around, these are the ones that are at the top right now. So it doesn't look good. All right, let's keep going, guys. What other stocks you guys want to take a look at? If not, we'll start wrapping it up. It's 3:59. We got about a minute left here. There's 4 o'clock. That's the bell. Pencils down, as they say. We'll see what goes on in the market tomorrow. Of course, as we get closer and closer to the interest rates, I don't think we'll get too much. But, of course, what will we get tomorrow? We'll get some information on wondering how dovish or hawkish is the Fed here, right? Does Jerome lay down we're still battling inflation and that we see oil prices going higher, so we're going to continue to maybe raise rates, maybe 1 or 2 meetings? We'll find out what's mentioned, of course. If you want to find out, stay tuned tomorrow. Fed decision. Of course, we'll get the conference at 2:30 and we'll get the release at 2 p.m. If you guys keep up with my Twitter, MoneyMitchBZ, I'll give you guys that PDF outlook. What happens is at 2 p.m., they release the prepared speech. I will go ahead and give you guys a nice summarized look into that, probably a minute or two after it comes out. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely follow my Twitter at MoneyMitchBZ. Also, of course, check out Benzinga's Twitter. I'll be retweeting it on there. Hit the like button. Stay safe out there, team. It was a tough day today. Let's see if they rip it back tomorrow, or are we just kind of just playing this leaking game because the banks are going down? Honestly, right now, it just seems like the market is hanging on and wondering where the next catalyst is going to come from. I think you guys should be wondering also. And of course, we'll talk all about it right here on Start Swing Trade. Hit the like button. I'll see you guys bright and early on pre-market prep. And always try to keep pushing your trade levels to the next spot. One thing that I will tell you guys that I'm working on recently is doing what? Just taking it easy. Because right now, I feel like I don't have the edge. And when I see that, hit the brake a little bit. Wait till you start seeing a trend arise, and then we can go after the next one. We'll see you guys next time right here on Start Swing Trade.